Hello, hello. Today is Thursday, June 25th, 2020. Welcome to the fourth day of summer school of our first week. Our language objectives today are I can understand why we take notes using a teacher video and reflection. And I can explain what each role in the building is for by taking focus notes using a teacher model and images. So that first language objectives, that's this right here. Okay. Our agenda, as it says, answer the community question in WebEx. If you haven't done it, pause the video here, go back and do it. And watch the Why We Take Notes video. Ta-da, this one. Okay. After this, there's going to be another video that is focus notes along with the teacher. That's going to be me, except for instead of seeing me like you are here, I'm actually going to be writing on my iPad. And you're going to have a different video to help take notes along with, because it's not as easy to see me right here as it is on my iPad. So with that being said, let's actually get to our question. Why do we take notes? What is the purpose of it? Okay. I'm going to give you 5 seconds. Think in your head of as many possible reasons as you can. Why do we take notes? Got a reason? All right, let's compare it to some of the things that I've thought of. My list does not have everything in it. So if yours fits in here, please let me know. So, focus notes. Focus notes are a very specific type of notes. But why do we take notes in general? One reason is to keep you focused and engaged. I don't know about you, but I've caught myself a number of times when I kind of maybe should be doing something else to maybe pull out this and start perusing or looking at things that are not productive, right? I don't know if you've ever sat there listening to a teacher talk, and as you listen, you just kind of start thinking about something, and then you realize you don't know what's going on anymore. I have been there. I have been there both as a student in school, and I have been there as an adult. Okay, it happens to everybody. So taking notes keeps you focused. You have to focus on what's going on, and you're engaged in that learning, and it helps you really stay focused on what's supposed to be going on. Okay. They also help us remember. Science actually shows that using notes and physically writing them actually helps you remember things better. Okay. Really cool fact, typing doesn't do it quite the same as research has shown, but it still does it. So being able to physically walk away with something that has that on there is useful. And then finally, it's a review tool. If you have listened to a lesson every day for 5 weeks and you have to study for the test, you can go back to your notes. Okay? They're there for a reason. I'm going to show you a quick little video called The Curve of Forgetting. So it's specifically talking about why we're going to do the notes that we do. The notes that I'm going to teach you are going to be very structured. We're going to take the notes, but then we're going to be very, very careful about how and why we review them. So this is called The Curve of Forgetting.
Did you know that the brain is designed to forget things, which makes learning new information really hard? The focused note-taking process makes learning stick. A landmark study done in the 1880s found that people forget along a predictable curve. In an hour, you will forget more than half of what you've learned. A day later, you will only remember a third. And it just keeps getting worse from there. The focused note-taking process is designed to help you remember what you learned. The secret is repetition. Interacting with your notes within 18 minutes will boost your recall from 55% to 100%. Revisiting your notes within 1 day increases your learning from 70% back to 100%. Notice the curve of forgetting changes dramatically after every interaction with your notes. Complete 5 repetitions, and the information is all but cemented in your brain.
So that video is put out by Avid, which you're probably going to hear a lot more about in the next couple of years in middle school. But basically, that means that the more we interact with our notes, the more we're going to remember them. So what does this really mean they look like? So here's an example of what they could look like. Okay. We have one page that has our title, all the notes. These are the things that the teachers put up on the slides. These are the things that the teachers are saying. That's all over here. Now, can you doodle? Absolutely. Can you highlight? Of course. Can you add things in, keep it short and summarize? Absolutely. Okay? You do you. You're going to be the best advocate for your own learning. You're going to learn what you like to do best. This space is for you to write that information down in your own way. The next part is this little part off to the side, right here. This is for questions, ideas, and connections. So if I'm talking about something and then you're like, oh my gosh, that really reminds me of how this person does that, or what in the world would that be useful for? That is where you write all these questions down. So this comes through as you're listening and understanding and thinking about, okay, now what? How does this relate? Why is this important? If you don't cement your learning to something else, if you don't connect it, it tends to fly away. One of my teacher friends uses the idea of a balloon. If we have a balloon of all this new information and we don't tie that balloon down, it's going to float away. We have to tie it to things that we already know and the things that we already remember. That way it stays there and we can keep that knowledge. The bottom section here is for a summary. So if you want to flip through pages quickly, it's down there summarized. If you can summarize your learning, that means you understand it well enough to shorten it. That means you can do a very quick little understanding because you have that much information and understanding of what's going on. And then the other side of the page, this is where you're going to show me what you know. This is where some fun activities take place and some different ways of thinking. Today, we're going to take some focus notes, but we are only going to use the first page. So you can grab scrap paper, you can grab your iPad with Notability, you can grab whatever's around, get something to write with, and some piece of paper, and I want you to set your notes up like this. So that red line that's usually on your paper, go ahead and take 2 fingers, put it on that red line, and then draw a line straight up. That's going to tell you where this line goes. And then this bottom line here is your summary. So that can go 5 lines up from the bottom. You can count them out. If you're somebody who writes a little bigger, you might want a little bit more room. If you're somebody who writes kind of small, 5 lines might be a little too much. Do your best at estimating. Okay? And then you'll title it Middle School Staff. So that's the end of this video. In the next video, we're actually going to take notes together. I'm going to model it for you. I'm going to show you how I write them out. And we're actually going to talk about who in the world is a part of our building and what are their jobs and why might I need them. All right, I'll see you in the next one.